Hello, everybody. It is Agony333, and we are here for another foray into extreme cinema. This time with a movie called Inside. So let's delve into this shit, shall we, folks? Alright, so this movie was made in 2007. It has an hour and 22-minute runtime, and it is a French horror film. So, yeah, more foreign horror, which I am definitely a fan of. And so this movie is about a woman named Sarah who is quite far into her pregnancy because this movie takes place on Christmas Eve and her child is due Christmas Day. But unfortunately for Sarah and for us, the pregnancy is not going to go very fucking smooth because, yeah, a crazed woman ends up on her doorstep and it is basically a fight for survival. So let's delve further into this. I'll get through what I can before spoilers hit. But there is one word I'd like to say that sums this film up, and that is it is a vicious fucking film. That is for sure. It is very brutal. At least in my opinion, it is. Alright, the first thing I'd like to say is the protagonist, Sarah, is a very bitter and worn down protagonist, and that is due in part to something that happens at the very get go of this film. We basically see that she is in a horrible car accident that basically takes the life of her significant other. And so you see from the beginning how it kind of affects her. You see that she lashes out at a lot of the people who really care for her, unfortunately. But it's quite fitting, I'd say. I mean, it gets this really heavy tone and this really big feel of grief, and to me, it gets it right. So, for anybody who's experienced loss and grief, things of that nature, this film, I would say, nails it on the head, unfortunately. But yeah, you really get this worn down feeling from her. You know, she's not doing great. A lot of this film has this really heavy vibe of that, has this really kind of like doom filled, worn down vibe, like I keep saying. But yeah, so that's the first bullet point I wanted to address, and the other was grief. The entrance of this crazed woman, I would say, is perfect. You really get the sense that this lady is unhinged. Because, yeah, she is greatly fucking unhinged. But, yeah, they handle that perfectly. Like, the way she says the things she says, the looks. The acting in this movie, I'd say, is great. I really loved the acting, the performance of both Sarah and the crazed woman. And, you know, other side actors and stuff is pretty good, too. But let me see what else I can get to here. Um, Let me see here. Oh, the bit of trivia. There was not much trivia to find on this film, but the one bit I came across, I guess, that's kind of neat, is I guess that the house number is 666. So yeah, badass metal shit, right? Yeah. All right, but yeah, I guess that's really as much as I. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, I almost got ahead of myself. There's a lot of movies that try to portray women as being tough, and they really kind of shove that in your face. And I really hate how they're trying so hard to push that. I mean, to me, I watched Terminator: Dark Fate, and I liked the movie, but I felt like it was trying so hard to show, you know, women are tough too, kind of thing. And I mean, to me, it's like women have been tough forever. I mean, anybody who's been watching films, anybody knows that women are fucking strong and they can be strong. And this movie, to me, is a prime example of that. It doesn't try to force that down your throat. It just shows you, you know, these women are fucking tough. And it shows you that ladies can be just as goddamn tough and brutal as fucking men. So, yeah, this is a movie that is a prime example of showcasing badass chicks. That's what I would say, anyways. But yeah, that was, I guess, one thing I wanted to get through before I gave it a quick rating. Because, yeah, damn, I'm actually surprised I'm getting to a rating this fast. But yeah, there's a lot of other things, well, maybe a few other things I'd like to get into that I don't want to get into without, you know, hitting the fucking rating and getting onto it. So, I didn't struggle too much with the rating. But what I would say is I really loved this film. And funny enough, I actually viewed this film years prior when I was in high school. I will say that the first time I watched this film back in high school, it had a much more profound effect on me. And I'll maybe touch on that in the spoilers section. Because back then I did find it disturbing for one particular moment. But this time it wasn't as disturbing, but it does have a disturbing kind of quality to it. But yeah, the rating I gave this film is a 7.5. leaning towards an 8. I almost gave it an 8 because I really enjoy just the high intensity this film has, because yeah, it is just, it once it picks up, it's just fucking intense. Like, the fight for survival that these women have is, it's really brutal as hell. It's just a constant fucking barrage, and it's just really rapid. The soundtrack is great and goes well with the fucking struggle here. And like I said, it's badass. The chicks in this are badass. And it's just really gritty and just fast paced. Some of the fights with just, foreign objects in the house, a pair of scissors, a fucking pick or whatever. It's brutal, and it's just like boom, like shit happens, and it's bloody and it's ferocious. Yeah, it's a great fucking film. But yeah, 7.5 going to an 8. If you guys want something that is brutal and fast paced and is just fucking killer, check this film out. For any of those of you who have already watched this film and want to see my thoughts, continue right along, because here come the spoilers, folks. Let's get into the fucking bloody, brutality of this film. Alright, let me look through this quickly. I already figured, mentioned that she was bitter and worn, grief stricken, which was really sad to me. Like, even the second time viewing it, it really did get to me. I feel like the acting was great on that part, and I've dealt with loss in my life, so to me, it immediately established a connection to this lady. I wanted to see her make it through the struggles. I really wanted to see something good, something turn out right for her. That's how I felt about it. It really sucked to see somebody in the state that she's in at the start of this film and throughout this film. I was rooting for her the entire time. But yeah, like I said, perfect entrance, the crazy lady, my god, like I can't go enough for how at least I felt like she nailed being crazy so damn well. Um yeah, like a later part after the entrance, when our main protagonist is sleeping and the crazy woman has somehow gotten into the fucking house, and you just see her in the background, and you see it kind of like fade. I love how they did that. It's not just there and then gone like some films do. You see her kind of like silhouette, and you see her kind of face, and the protagonist is like doing something with her phone. The cat wakes her up and she's pissed and whatnot. Maybe the cat was trying to fucking save her. I don't know, but you just see the crazed woman just kind of like fade into the background slowly, just into the shadows, and just kind of wander off. And it's just, ooh, it's just chilling and creepy. They nailed these aspects so well, I feel. And another thing that lends itself to, like I said, the crazy, insane persona that this lady has, how she is later on when she's sniffing the baby, the children's clothing, just like subtle things like that go to show you just how fucking nuts this lady is. She just opens this package and she's just sniffing the fucking clothing of a baby, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's not been worn, of course, but I mean, just like, oh, like when I seen that this time, I was like, man, like that just things like that stood out to show you and to sell you on how fucking nuts this lady is. Someone you don't want to screw with. So there's that moment. And then I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Later on, I had completely forgot, and it was a really sad, like, damn moment, but a moment I'm happy is kind of in this film, and that's when she kills her own mom. Her mom comes, and she's not aware people are there to help her, and she's in this fight or flight kind of mode, more so fight, I'd say. And the mother comes up to the bathroom, and it's just instant boom, and she's dead. And that really sucks. And it's, for me, it was a heartfelt moment. It was definite good delivery from the actress. It was a really like, oh man, like a horrible moment. But like I said, it was a great one because, I mean, this film, it wasn't pussying around. It wasn't, messing around. It showed you like how a situation like this could be. I mean, sometimes innocent people are going to get caught up in shit. And, when you're in this like fight moment, when you're fighting for your life and the life of your child, it's crazy, and this film, to me, like I said, captures the insanity and the intensity of the struggle so damn well. It's so in your face, and it's so damn fast paced. That's what I loved about it. It's so adrenaline charged. And so yeah, that was a horrible moment, and I completely forgot about it. So I was like, "Oh fuck!" when it happened. Yeah, it was crazy. It catches you out of nowhere. At least it did me. The next thing is later on when the police are in there and one of the police officers is taken down. It's another like, oh shit moment because when the camera pans over and kind of passes over the police officer's gun at his side, it's like, oh fuck. Now now the villain has a fucking firearm. That was my thought anyways. It's like, oh shit. Like now this crazy lady who is threatening from the get-go is now even more so threatening because now she's got a pistol that she's wielding and fucking carrying around at her disposal. So that was another horrible moment. It's just like I said, through this film, you're rooting for Sarah so much. At least I was. I was rooting for her. I was like, come on, like, the first time I watched this film, and even this time, knowing how the end turns out, I really wanted to see some success here. I really wanted to see her just beat the living shit out of the villain and make it through this stuff. But yeah, as I'll get to in a second, because yeah, I already mentioned that this has tough ladies. But here we are at the ending, because unfortunately for us, the ending does not go well. And as I've mentioned before, I like movies that have endings that are tragedies. But this is a movie that I'd very much say, as much as I like tragedies, and I'm happy that this film kind of displays an out of nowhere kind of tragedy and shows you something that's not typical. This is one I really wish had not been that way, because like I said, I was rooting for Sarah a lot. And so it's a really horrible moment. It was a horrible moment for me both times viewing it. And this is the moment that I would say the first time viewing this when I was in high school was the really disturbing moment. And that is the ending, because yeah, we basically see Sarah at a point where she can't fight anymore. She's basically having the child, and the crazed woman she's won. There's no fighting at this point. Really, to me, it was commendable that Sarah had the fight that she had in the state that she was in. She gave it her all, and unfortunately, it wasn't good enough of a fight. But the part that disturbed me was more so, I guess, a thought I had rather than what the film gave. But the whole situation of the child being ripped from her was what disturbed me, because I remember when I was in high school, I was sitting there and I was just thinking and I was just racking my head like God, the whole thought of having a child torn, not, just, figuratively or whatever, but literally being torn from its mother, to never know its mother, to be torn away in that way it happened, just to have a child ripped away from its own mother was just depressing to me. So I mean, I'd say it was disturbing in a depressing way, because it really got me down. It was just like, man, like that was really heavy for me to think about, to think that to see a mother have a child torn from her, and the child to just never be able to see its mom, and its mom is dead, and to maybe even never know. I mean, who knows what path this child's life is going to take with this crazy deranged woman. It was sad. It was horrible to see that for me. Like I said, due in part to my own thought on the matter. So yeah, I would say it was definitely a disturbing film. Not just for the intense struggle, but like I said, for how the finale was. Seeing the hero that we're rooting for just fail miserably, and to die horribly like that with blood everywhere, and to have this innocent child robbed of such a great thing, of seeing its mom. And yeah, like I said, it was pretty heavy for me the first time. This time it didn't hit me as much, probably because I was expecting it. But yeah, heavy, heavy vibes, heavy themes here. One thing I'll say that I guess wasn't so stellar about this film was with the moments where it kind of showed the child, like the CGI, but I gave that a pass. Who gives a shit? I mean, the CGI might not have been top notch, but fucking who cares? To me, everything else about this film was top notch. It had a great soundtrack that got the heart thudding vibe perfectly, and it just had the vicious combat there. It had, to me, a protagonist that you could root for. It had a melancholy feel in the air that the ending sold perfectly. But to me, like I said, that's why I almost lean towards an A, is because I really enjoyed this film. I enjoyed everything that it had there. So yeah, I mean, I really wish you would have taken a different turn, but it did what it did, and I'm happy for films that go this route and say fuck the traditional, everything is going to be happy, cheery kind of vibe. Sometimes films need to do this. Sometimes films need to keep us on our toes, like I keep saying, and they need to show us that stories don't always work out perfectly. But yeah, I think that's about all I may have to say here. Because yeah, I'm looking through my notes quickly just to make sure that I touched on everything that I wanted to touch on. But I believe I did so. So, alright, guys, I hope that you actually watch this film instead of seeing my spoilers. For those of you that stuck around for the spoilers and seen this film, let me see what your thoughts are. What moment disturbed you? What freaked you out? I mean, was your heart out to Sarah like I was? Did you want to see this badass woman, succeed against the odds and just fucking destroy the fucking villain? I mean, let me know about that. I guess one other thing is just, man, like in particular later on when the villain gets her face charred and burnt, like God, the fucking, like I said, the ferocity of her. Like when the police officer kind of comes and is beating Sarah. For a moment there when I first watched it, I was like, in a way, almost cheering for both of them because I almost thought like maybe finally the villain was kind of on the side of Sarah, just kind of helping her. But obviously that wasn't the case. But I mean, that was a pretty crazy ass moment. Just the rah, the fucking, the scream that the villain had stabbing the fucking cop and everything. It was just, like I said, this movie was wild. It was crazy. To me, it earned its spot on extreme things just because of how much rage and just all that was there. And like I said, the actors did it perfectly to me. But yeah, that's about all the thoughts I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoyed this crazy badass film. And if you did, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more crazy films, more will be coming because I have more in my collection, more that I haven't even seen that I would like to watch, showcase, and show to you guys. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say. Kept it actually pretty fucking short. I'm surprised, but I hope you all have a splendid, amazing day. Be like Sarah, but, have a better ending than Sarah had. Be strong-willed, fight no matter what the odds are. But I hope that you all succeed in whatever you're fighting in. Because we need some good shit to, yeah, counterbalance the bad once in a while. So, yeah, if you're having a great day also, let me know that in the comments. I hope you're all doing spectacularly. Have a great one, folks. This is Agony333 signing out. Peace, everybody. Have a great one.